Good evening and thank you for tuning in to WTHR Plus. I'm meteorologist Robb Ellis. Want to provide you with these hourly updates of what to expect. Looks like the bulk of our system has finally moved on, but we still have some scattered snow showers. This may add some minor accumulation on top of what has already fallen, but I think the bulk of the system is starting to exit, starting to pull away, and it looks like things have unfolded pretty close to what we expected. Maybe some lower snowfall totals for parts of maybe Marion County and points to the south, but I got to tell you, the numbers to the north have verified. I've seen some 6 to 8 inch totals anywhere from Lafayette over to Kokomo to Marion and even over to Terre Haute, where 3 or 4 inches of snow are on the ground. Let's get into the details. Let's start with the biggest impact, which has been traffic. Things are improving a little bit, and most of that is because the snow rates have come down a bit. We saw some really intense snow rates at the onset when the snow finally arrived in Indy sometime around 6 o'clock or so. That really caused a big slowdown. Now the crews have been able to get a handle on things. The snow melt has had a chance to overcome that, and we're starting to see some improvements in the roadways. Take a look. This is 465 at West 10th Street. This is where we had an issue earlier on the west side with a vehicle slide off. We're going to continue to watch that. We may have more information at 11 o'clock on WTHR about what happened there. And then also looking at this is 465 south at I-65. This is on the south side. We are looking at a vehicle that's in the roadway here and going to continue causing some problems until we get that out of the way. But overall, the traffic is moving nicely on the roadways. You can see the visibility has improved in downtown Indianapolis, but still seeing some precipitation. You'll see that on the lens occasionally. And by looking at the radar, you can certainly see that a couple of things here. One, the intensity has really slowed down a bit, although there's still some showery snow that's coming down. But also we're starting to see that changeover happen as well. And I think that changeover to snow, from snow to rain, I should say, is starting to take place in places like Terre Haute, where we have seen some sleet start to mix in with some of the snow earlier and probably switching over to rain at some point. And I'll show you some wind speeds that are really going to show you why this is happening here in just a moment. Also starting to see that rain snow line creep a little farther to the north, and expect this to change over to rain by sometime before midnight, I think, tonight, although by that point most of the precipitation will begin to shut down. In other words, there's just not as much moisture here to work with. Although this latest little couple of frames here does have some additional rain rebuilding closer to St. Louis. I'll keep my eye on it. Here's what we're expecting. Let's get through some of the current conditions that we have out there right now, and then we'll talk about where we're headed for the overnight. A couple of snow reports continue to pop up on the board here to the north. Most of these are in the 6 to 8 inch range. I did see a just shy of 8 inches in West Lafayette. But once you get to, say, the airport in Indianapolis, as of about a couple of hours ago, they had 1.1 inches of snow on the southwest side of Indy. So there's really quite a variability here. And we knew that that was going to be the case. The dry air, though, did throw things off just a bit. But sometimes that's the way the forecast goes when you have some drier air in place. Temperatures are starting to climb. We've seen the Indianapolis temperature go from 28 to 29 to 30. Now it's up to 31. And I think over the next several hours, we'll continue to see that accelerate, especially as the winds pick up and once the snow rate slows down. Once we see the snow rate slow down, I think the warmer temperatures are really going to start to move in. Let me show you what's going on. We've got some wind gusts. I just checked this map about 15 minutes ago. There was a 44 mile per hour wind gust over in Champaign, and these are all winds out of the south. When you have winds out of the south, typically that's going to warm you up. So we're pulling in some warmer air here. Now in the short term, it's going to make the wind chill go down. So the wind chills are currently into the teens and 20s. But these lines across, you can see them very subtly, these very subtle lines that are across parts of Indiana out of the south, they're not moving as quickly or as intensely as they are to the west. This is where the warmer air is really surging in, and it's why already we're seeing the changeover in places like Illinois and over into, say, Terre Haute. That's going to continue moving our way, and it will really help to warm the temperatures up. Unfortunately, as I've been advertising, that may cause some issues as a little bit of sprinkle or mist comes along with that as the temperatures warm up into the mid to maybe even upper 30s. I'm not as concerned about this as I was perhaps a little bit earlier, and a couple of things have changed. And that's that, one, we haven't seen as much snowpack on the ground, especially in places like Indianapolis. Now, to the north, that may still be a problem. Lafayette, Kokomo, you've got as much as 6 to 8 inches of snow on the ground. If your temperatures warm up to the mid to upper 30s, a lot of that's going to melt. I don't know that you're going to be able to realize that warm of a temperature. Meanwhile, farther to the south, where you didn't get as much snow, the temperatures may be warm, but there's not as much melting because you don't have as much snow. So this may actually work out to be a pretty good scenario for us. Once we get into early morning, though, everything's going to freeze. Temperatures are all going to drop into the 20s. But I do have a feeling that by that point, the roads are going to be pretty well traveled. The snow is not going to be compacted on the roads. It's going to pretty much have melted because of the treatment, those areas that have been treated. But if there are untreated roads with a little bit of rain over top of the compaction of the snow, this is going to cause some concerns for any of those areas that are untreated. Wouldn't rule out a possibility of a little light snow shower through the afternoon. Once we get into Monday, cloudy skies, temperatures stay cold, probably into the 20s for much of the day. Want to bring this up very quickly. Late Monday night and into Tuesday morning, the next round of snow arrives. I think you'll get through Monday without significant accumulation of snow, maybe a snow flurry or a snow shower, but we could pick up another inch or two sometime late Monday night. This will be right before the Tuesday morning commute. So temperatures will be in the 20s. That's good news because it means that road treatment should be pretty effective at that temperature, but this is going to come in right before the morning commute and could make a bit of a mess out there for you for Tuesday. Temperatures over the next several hours will start above freezing after midnight and then drop. That's where we have that concern for any melting, refreezing once we get into Sunday morning. Be careful if you're going to be heading out very early on Sunday morning. After that, we get temperatures that stay below freezing through Monday and Tuesday. There's that chance for snow on Tuesday. Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and even into Saturday, we stay cold, but at least we get above freezing a couple of days. There's not a lot of sunshine in this forecast. Staying cloudy through most of the weekend. A couple of flurry chances thrown in. Keep it tuned right here to WTHR Plus. We'll provide you with another update live at 10 p.m. and, of course, at 11 p.m. after the football game on WTHR and right here on WTHR Plus. Be safe.